Hey everybody, welcome to the 3+1 live cast where I am joined by our amazing hostess, the one and the only Tracy Bonner.
What's up, y'all?
And this week's guest, the one of the two amazing ladies of the Lemon Pepper Wet podcast. Christina, welcome to your third. This is your third or fourth?
Third.
Yeah.
This is your third time joining us on.
No, fourth. Wait.
Yeah, you're the fourth time joining the 3+1 podcast team, but your first time on our live cast. So as we're, in the COVID era, looking at doing things different and going in a new direction. For our viewers, please jump right now in the chat and engage with us. Let us know where you are joining in from so that we can see it, and we want you throughout the night to talk to us. Tonight we're trying to be a little bit more laid back. So, Tracy, what are you eating over there? Share it. What are you eating?
I'm eating this new snack that I discovered called Popcorners. That's just what it is. It's popcorn and a chip.
How many calories?
120 calories for 17 chips, but I eat 37.
I'm definitely a hardcore back on my Weight Watchers, counting every point after all the 16 pounds I've gained with COVID.
Is that a real thing? Is everybody actually really gaining weight because we're staying at home?
Have you gained any weight?
I don't actually get on the scale, honestly.
But you fit your clothes, so.
You're in good. Yeah, I have legitimately gained a total of 16, 18 pounds. So
but you work out all the time.
You know what? That's a great point you bring up, because the battle for maintaining a healthy lifestyle is not one in the gym, it's one at the table. Mm-hmm. And so it's 80% diet, 20% fitness. And for me, just being very transparent, I went from burning about, in my spin class with Rod Harris and Carol, and now I'm spinning at Cycle Gang with them, both of them, and then also Khalil, great trainer at Cycle Gang. When I was with them at the Adamsville Rec Center through KTX, I would burn 800 calories per spin class. I had it on my Apple Watch. That was my daily goal to get to, and I would fight to get there. So I'm burning 800 calories 5 days a week. On Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I would run. I would make sure I ran a minimum of 3 miles. That was a lot of activity. So in COVID-19, I lost all of the spin class and I was only running. And even though I'm running every day or every other day, because running is a lot harder on your body, I'm only burning about 400 calories in a really good hard run. If I do a good long distance of about 7 to 10 miles, I'm only burning 600 calories. So in addition to that, I'm not as active, because when I was going to work every day, you're getting dressed, you're getting up, you're moving around. When you're working from home, you get up out of bed, you throw on your shirt, you come and sit down, and you sit down.
Yeah.
So for me, that has led to about 16 pounds that I'm wanting to get off, to get back down to my Weight Watchers goal weight. But hey, I'll get there. Yeah. Christina, what are you eating and drinking over there?
I'm not eating anything. I'm actually trying to do intermittent fasting. I haven't gained a whole lot of weight, I think, in general over the COVID period. Mm-hmm. Just over the past 2 years, I've put on some weight. So I am doing intermittent fasting. That I found that in the past that is what's worked for me. Like you said, It starts in the kitchen, and a lot of that is portion control, when and how much you eat. So for me, eating within a certain block of the day, not overeating, not eating late at night tends to be what kind of catapults my weight loss or fitness or whatever, however you want to call it. So I'm only drinking champagne right now.
What brand of champagne is that?
This is something new that I'm trying. It's called Gran Sello or Sello.
How is it?
It's from Spain, so it's Gran Sello. It's pretty good. It's a prosecco, actually. It's not champagne. Prosecco is kind of sweet. It's bubbly. It's everything you need.
I love prosecco. I do. Yeah, I do. I see we got some guests out there. Hey, Teresa. Hey, Brandon.
Yes, I can't see the guests.
Yeah, chat with us. Talk to us. Give us some feedback. If you like a certain brand of Prosecco champagne, definitely join us. Or if there is a COVID-19 snack that you've had, like Tracy and her pop corners, that you want to share, we definitely want you to do so, especially if it's healthy and good for you. Again, for tonight's episode, we have the Lemon Pepper Wet podcast. That is Christina's podcast with her best girl, Bethany. Christina, you guys just had a really awesome episode that dropped.
Okay.
It was great. Tell us a little bit, the wrong view.
Which episode are you talking about?
How it was about like activism, and you were talking about the issues and things going on right now in the world.
Blacktivism, yeah. I think, there's so much focus on.
Hey, Letitia. She's a very good friend of mine, old school friend.
Hi, Letitia. There's so much focus on what we can do, how we can mobilize, how we can revolutionize, become revolutionary, and all this stuff. And I think that sometimes it's important to take a really long, hard pause. There's a lot of pressure put on Black people to do something in times like this. And I don't necessarily always agree with that. I don't think, sorry, forgive my voice is a little raspy. My sisters graduated today, so there was a lot of screaming earlier in the day.
From Eagles Landing?
No, they graduated from Dutchtown. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Dr. Royster, the principal, is a good friend of mine, and she's an amazing leader. Libra Royster. Beautiful
I
woman.
never met her, but she was very nice. I mean, she did a phenomenal job.
Great spirit.
For the ceremony. So yes, I think that it's important for us to understand that this journey through freedom is not necessarily all on us. And I think a lot of times we become inundated with trying to be active and encouraging each other to go to the polls and encouraging each other to protest, when in all actuality, we should be making space for joy and pleasure and happiness and solace and peace. And so if I'm going to be completely honest, I mean, that to talk about the podcast, that's kind of what we touched on. It was just a matter of finding those spaces in your life and within your friends groups and your families where you can really just take a moment, be peaceful, be good to yourself, be kind to yourself, not feel so angry, not feel so sad, which is really hard to do, especially in times like these. So,
yep. And I applaud you for that. Yesterday was my birthday, and I just took thank you. I just took the entire day off.
Yeah,
I needed to disconnect my mind from the news and social media. I didn't even post about my birthday.
I did.
Yes, you did. I don't think I posted them until later in the evening, like 9 or 10, because I just wanted to be able to celebrate on my, just on my own terms and just be. So I applied.
Strawberry cake.
Strawberry lemonade, and it was from a Black-owned restaurant.
There you go.
Debbie's Delights. So
Debbie's Delights. Yeah, I want to shout out Cakes by Keon, and I think doing those kinds of things like supporting Black-owned businesses, putting your dollar or putting your money where your mouth is, even for Black people, like. It's a very subdued and like underrated form of activism or protest, but it's very necessary. And I think that that's important. You celebrated your birthday. You still found a joyous moment and you supported a Black business in the process. And I think that's just as valid as being out in the hot ass sun, holding a sign. Like,
and I went to Slutty Vegan for dinner.
Yes.
I will never, my first experience with the slut was with you, Tracy. And it was freezing cold. We had just worked out at a spin class. We were freezing cold. I will never forget my slut experience with you. I'm glad you talk about, Christina, how we have to support our community. Are we supporting Angela Stanton King?
Okay. You know what? I'm going to be completely honest. Like I said, I'm going to be transparent in the fact that I have not been on top of my political acumen and like awareness this season. Mm-hmm. However, I did read up on this woman. I did watch her Breakfast
Club.
Club interview. And, I couldn't really make it through the whole thing. I got through like maybe 4 or 5 minutes of it. And I was just like, okay, I've seen enough.
We've got to watch this. We've got to watch it in its entirety because because you got to be careful about women like her. She spouts out information that is very surfacey. It's very surface facts. It's not, she doesn't give you the details of what these policies that this president is passing or signing. She just says, oh, he's done more for African Americans as it pertains to, look at the HBCU bill he signed. Well, let's get deep. He signed $250 million to be dispersed amongst 101 HBCUs. And that is a drop in the bucket. That is paying for landscape, baby.
You know what I'm saying? Give us the back. I refuse to watch The Breakfast Club. I refuse to give CTG any kind of an audience. If he's on my list, he's on the.
Why? What's your qualm with CTG?
I don't support Charlemagne's The Gadfly because he has built his career and his whole entire life on tearing down Black celebrity. And he never, in the course of his career building, he didn't add any value to the Black community. He only attacked and tore it down. He, as well as Wendy Williams. So I don't support Wendy Williams either. A lot of people are quick to forgive in the Black community, and that's fine. That's who you are. It's not who I am. So the things and the attacks that he's leveraged against celebrities and the things that he's done, I'm unable to look past that to say, oh, well, he's now reformed. In addition to that, CTG gives an audience to people that I feel I think he has a separate agenda. When first off, you want to attack Joe Biden, which is fine. You have the right to attack Joe Biden. But then at a time like this, you're only going to hurt and impact and suppress the Black vote. You turn right around after attacking Joe Biden and you bring on Rush Limbaugh to your show and you give Rush Limbaugh, with his ignorance and his racism, a platform and a seat at the table to be broadcast out to Black people in America. Some of whom, not many, that is not many. It's a small fraction, but a small fraction of that audience may not be as educated and aware of the history of Rush Limbaugh and what Rush Limbaugh has said about our community, and they may embrace some of his rhetoric and some of his ideology, with open arms, because it does lend itself to a Black male misogynistic point of view that is running amok at the Hotep community anyway. So you bring him on, right? You bring on him, and now you bring on her. Yes. You bring her on. You have her come.
I mean.
So no, I'm not able to in any way. I can't watch it, but I want our viewers to know, Tracy and Christina, what they talked about and why it was valid.
Okay, like I said, I did not watch the whole thing. However, sometimes when you know, and the conversation like took off running with her pro-life stance.
Oh my God.
Please, Tracy, help me. Like, okay. I'm just like, okay, girl, this is what I will say. Like, I'm all for a person who is really invested in providing opportunities to people, women of color, single mothers, to have an option so they don't feel like they have to resort necessarily to abortion. Okay, that's fine. Put the energy towards opportunities for entrepreneurship, pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, grants, funds, whatever that may be. However, a woman's right to choose is still and forever will be a woman's right to choose. You cannot take that away. Like all this motion about they're trying to, if Black lives matter, then Black fetuses matter. And it's like what? Like, I just can't get on.
It was hard. It was hard to watch.
And I really did.
Who said that? Who said about the Black? Who said that?
Angela Stanton.
What did she say?
She was saying that she's pro-life because, Planned Parenthood has been strategically marketed to, first of all, it's a racist industry, which I don't disagree with. Or it's a racist company, or at its roots, which I don't disagree with. And it's also planted in Black communities so that Black women are more likely to abort their babies, and we need to be having these babies and all this other shit. And I'm just like, girl, are you going to adopt all these babies that you want people to have? Like, are you going to take care of these babies? Like, I mean, that
was my issue.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tracy.
No, I finished your statement because I'm going to go in.
Like, I don't understand why people don't understand that you just literally don't have a right to decide what someone else can do with their own entire body. Like, that's just not up to you. Now, if you want to bolster, programs and fund programs and get them moving to where, if a woman does feel like, I wish I didn't have to have this abortion, but I'm going to because of the situation I'm in. If you want to bolster programs that will provide other options for her, more accessible options for her, that's great. But the fact of the matter is, a woman doesn't need a reason to have an abortion. She can have an abortion because she just wants to have an abortion. She just doesn't want to have a baby. That's totally fine.
Yep.
And
that was my issue. When I said that she gives surfacey facts, that is exactly what I mean. There's no substance added to it. You cannot tell a woman, period, what they should do with their bodies. But if you are not putting, like you said, programs in place, for me, it's a mental health thing. Are all women mentally stable enough to have a baby?
Yeah.
Are all women financially stable enough? Who are we to tell someone who may have 3 children, what she can do with her body? She knows, is she emotionally stable enough to have this child? It's a lot of stuff that comes into play. Then you factor in rape. We have a lot of mothers who have mental illnesses having children. Mm-hmm. And it's difficult for me as a former educator to watch some of these children go through life and struggle and suffer. So if you're not going to put mental health options in the community, if you're not going to give these women vocational opportunities, if you're not going to offer them medical assistance, then I think that's what's wrong for me when she speaks about a lot of her these policies that she's putting into place. I'm like, it's a surfacey thing. There are no details. There are no bullet points. There are no blueprints on how we're going to fix this. There are no solutions.
When we spoke on the day before your birthday, where you had that delicious strawberry lemonade cake, we had a debate about.
We did.
Charlamagne's the Gadfly, even giving her a platform. I'm angry that
he even gave her a platform.
Charlamagne's the Gadfly is the enemy. He is a part of the problem. And so you have this woman, who's challenging John Lewis, who is, a lifelong champion of civil rights in America. Yeah. And Charlamagne's, you haven't had John Lewis on your show, but you're going to have Angela Stanton King on the show. And I feel like that in and of itself is a part of the problem.
But you don't watch the show, so you don't know who he brings on there to combat some of the silliness that 2 people have been brought to the show to talk about. You're talking about 2 people out of hundreds of guests that they bring to the show.
Chrissy, who has Charlamagne brought on the show that has added, who has brought upliftment to the Black community?
I don't know her last name. Ebony something. Angela Rye comes on the show. Tamika Mallory and Mason have been on the show. Dr. Umar Johnson. Like, it's all they had Bob Johnson on the show talking about financial wealth within the building wealth in the Black community. Like, you don't watch the show.
I'm not going to be able to watch it.
I'm an avid watcher. He just had someone else who was a professor for Black history and all kinds of stuff. You need to watch the show.
Exactly. Zach Thomas leaks.
So, Jimmy stated that she is desperately trying to follow the Candace Owens model, but she's not as sharp and misinformed. I want to ask you, Black women, is there such a thing as the Candace Owens model in the Republican Party? And is that a way of being able to climb forward and have upper mobility among this group of people?
Yes, I think so. I think that is a model that can be embodied by a lot of Black people. Like, your proximity to whiteness makes you X, Y, and Z. It makes you better. It makes you more visible. It makes you more palatable. Like, I think that's what we saw with Omarosa. I think that's what we see with Ben Carson. I mean, it's what we see with a lot of Black men who date and marry and have babies with white women. Like, it's all the same shit.
Are we gonna go there?
We don't have to go there, but I think
But you can go there because
we can.
Discussions and debates, and that's the whole point of 3+1. So you can go there.
I mean, there's not much else to say, honestly. Yeah. It is what it is. And I understand the sentiment. I'm not mad. See, my thing is, guys, like, I'm very careful about I know that all Black folk ain't kinfolk. I don't know who the wise person is that said that, but it's very true. However, I don't want to get on such a high horse that I start policing other Black people. That's not my job. You know what I'm saying? So while I can disagree with the Candace Owens and Angela Stanton Kings of the world, I'm still not here to be like, oh, she's wrong, like, shut her up, silence her, like, whatever. Let her speak.
You're saying, though, it's not. You're saying, do we have a right to offer critiques of our fellow?
Yes.
Of everybody. We have, but we don't have the right to police them.
Right.
You're saying you don't want to police this?
Well, they haven't been on the Breakfast Club.
Look at them. You guys, this has to be a joke. I mean, like a Tyler Perry poster. Like,
they are the BAPS of the Republican Party.
No, BAPS is amazing. They don't even give them that, because BAPS was incredible. Okay, like, we can have another discussion about BAPS another day.
But guess who on the show has never seen BAPS?
You. Oh, sorry.
There's no reason as to why. I'm not boycotting BAPS. I've just never watched it. So maybe I think it's actually, I swear this is a true story. I was laying in bed on Friday night and I said, oh, I think I should watch BAPS, but I didn't. But I'm going to watch it.
Please watch it.
It's funny, right?
Yes, it's funny. It's probably Halle Berry's best fucking performance. Like,
and just for Bethany, I'm going to do this again.
Oh, Jesus. BAPS. But I will say this, just to be clear about the Breakfast Club. Like, the other day, I did watch their Jon Stewart video. They have, I think Wes Moore was on there talking about poverty and activism. So I don't cancel them because they've given other people an opportunity to speak. I think it's important that we are all at a table to hear what everybody is saying, because we need to hear how these people think. You know what I'm saying?
I agree that I agree with that on one hand, but it depends on who is bringing the message and how the message is being brought. So I follow some Fox News commentators on my Twitter so I can see what they're combating the message. I do. But I also look, here's an example. There's a clip of what Joe Biden literally did talk about not wanting his kids to grow up around certain Black people, and the jungle comment from 1977. Mm-hmm. So the Republican Party has resurfaced a whole entire set of ads aimed at Black people for Black people on Facebook to retweet and share that, to disenfranchise them and to make them feel like Joe Biden is a bigger racist than Donald Trump.
Baby, ain't no bigger than Donald Trump.
Well, I want to say to everybody listening, it is a sad day in America when we're sitting here debating between two presidential candidates of the leading two major parties to say which one's the bigger racist, because I'm going to vote for the one that's not the big racist. That's a sad day. It is a sad day.
But we've always done that.
We have.
I agree. That's how it's.
I acknowledge that.
This is not a new phenomenon.
It's not. But the point is, is aimed in a very strategic way to make Black people not vote. First, Donald Trump came out and said he wanted the Black vote. When he realized he wasn't going to get a large portion of that vote because he is killing us at an exponential rate with COVID-19 and gassing us half to death as we march, in our city in DC on Black Lives Matter Boulevard, the Republican Party,
Parkway.
of course.
I mean,
Parkway Avenue.
Parkway.
Okay, Black Lives Matter Parkway.
We gotta get that right, y'all. Because when we're reading people, we gotta say that.
I'm gonna go when I go there in August and march hardcore. I'll know that.
I'm going to
go together with our mask and gloves and disinfectant spray. But
because COVID is gonna be out there.
Corona gonna be there. Now Corona gonna try to touch us and grab us, but it won't get me. I'm covered by mask and sanitization in the blood of Jesus. But the point of it is that, the point, but this is now resurfacing. Joe Biden has addressed this on numerous occasions. Joe Biden has had multiple people address it for him. It's still resurfacing, and people are seeing who haven't seen it because we, Black people, keep throwing it back out there. And it's being, and the Republicans know they can do this to us because they don't want us to vote. It's voter suppression at its best. Yeah. And Zach Thomas has clearly stated it's plaza.
I know. Thank you, Zach. I was looking. Thank you, Zach.
Well, voter suppression still. I mean, I guess there's a lot of rhetoric around Black people trying to get other Black people to vote.
Hey, Ma.
Oh, hi. Trying to get other Black people to vote. I personally do think it's important for Black people to vote.
Me too.
However, voter suppression still, if you look at the numbers in a lot of, in a lot of states, voter turnout for Black people is equivalent, if not very close to equivalent to the Black population. Like, is the conversation surrounding voter suppression or Black voter turnout actually, like, what are the numbers around that is what I want to know. Like, because I think the conversation is trying to make us feel like we're not voting hard enough or good enough or like.
We are voting. We're showing up. They're just closing polls down early. They're turning 3,000 polls into 207. They're limiting our options. They're limiting our options. That's in everything, though.
Yeah, that's everything. Even if the votes counted like one for one, like one vote counts for one vote, and that was it. Yeah. Black people only make up 13% of the population. That's where I come back to. It's not on us to make the change. So I don't take offense to people who are like, oh, I don't vote. Because I feel like, bro, it's not on us. Like, why are we putting this pressure on ourselves to change the system that we didn't create?
Well, I take offense only because my grandmother had to take a test in order to be deemed smart enough to just say, I want this person to lead me or lead my community. Those are the things that bother me when people say that they're not going to vote, is that we were denied. We were once considered 3/5 human, and so we were denied the civil right to just do that, to vote.
Well,
I have the privilege, Christina, to not vote. You know what I'm saying? It took us a lot to even have the privilege to be in a position to vote or not vote.
And where has voting? Okay, let me not say that because
say it.
Say that. But what I will say is that the problem, I think, with voting is that the options that are given to us require us to ultimately settle. At the end of every voting season, there's not one single candidate on either side that really has the interests of Black people in their hands. Until someone tells me a real plan for reparations, and until someone tells me a real plan for reform and abolition of the prison industrial complex, I don't want to hear about get out and vote, get out and vote, get out.
So Christina, I love it. Let me, of course, this is the whole point of 3+1. So for anyone who is just joining, this is a podcast that I've done since 2018. But now we're a live cast because of COVID-19. And in this process, it's meant to take Zennial and Millennial voices, two different generations, bring us together to hash out these types of issues. Christina is the heartbeat of the Millennial generation. And my old behind is like the true Zennial. Like, we old, and we have old ways of thinking sometimes. So Christina, when you say this, it makes me think, let me examine, what she's saying. I agree with you. Black people only make up 13% of the United States population. We have very little concentrated political capital, but we do have enough to make a difference. That's the point. Evidence of this was seen in the election of Doug Jones in Alabama, when Black women voted 98% in favor of him and got him a seat in the United States Senate in Alabama. When you look at the history of American racist politicians, Alabama leads the way across the board. Mississippi gets a bad reputation for being racist and because of the lynching and the horrors that happened in that state. But when you look at the political leaders in this country that were most racist, they came from Alabama. So that's an example of the power that we have. Another thing that works in our favor as African Americans, or my preferred term, Black people in this country, is that we do unify at critical junctions and critical times to have an impact. And when we block vote, we do have an impact. Again, I started the debate by saying it is a sad day in America when I have to talk about Joe Biden is less racist than Donald Trump.
Yeah, but I think that's a conversation we've always been having.
It is, but this can be the last time we have it. Really? I know, yes, you believe. Let me tell you something. I know that Zachary Kirk, after what I have lived through in this year, I am making a concerted effort to never again be in a position where I have to vote for someone who has a history of racist ideas and thinking. But this is not the year to do that.
No.
Donald Trump has made a full-out assault against American democracy and the whole entire concept of what it means to be an American and have an American identity. He's attacked immigrants when we are a nation of immigrants. He has attacked Black people by calling white nationalists and white supremacists and terrorists very good people. He has undone the work that has been laid out after 8 years of a progressive push forward from the Obama administration. And he has warped the mentality of a number of people so that you get Diamond and Silk who tell us that it is more important for us to pump our, Diamond and Silk said, you're out there pumping your fist for Black lives. Go and pump your fist and vote for Donald Trump. Diamond and Silk said you can move to the east.
We're not going there.
You can move north and south, but if you don't like Donald Trump, get out of America. You don't belong here. This is what we are fighting against and arguing against right now in this current moment.
Which I think is absolutely ridiculous. It's a joke. It's a joke. And see what I feel in my heart of hearts. I'm a voter. I'm an active voter. I vote in every election, at every level. However, I think that to demand votes from Black people to cast their vote into a system that is only working because of the active, ongoing oppression of Black people it's mind-boggling.
I mean, you're right. I agree.
It's dismantled.
I agree with that.
You give me my reparations.
I don't want you to have reparations.
Well, I'm sorry?
I don't want you to have reparations. I don't support reparations.
I want my reparations.
I don't. Reparations are for people who were in Georgia and South Carolina. It actually came from, did you know that this came from, Christina, it came from your ancestors in Savannah.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
Did you know that?
What? Okay, but what is the problem with that?
But no, I just want to, so I have done I wanted to do some research. And when General Sherman, burned through Atlanta, burned through Savannah, he met with the, newly freed slaves, and he talked, and they were advocating for themselves, saying, we will not be free without land. Yeah. And so he promised to take the land from the landowners of Georgia and South Carolina and give it to those freed slaves.
Okay.
And they had the land and they lived on the land, and then the land was taken away from them by President Andrew Johnson after Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. And that was the very first time that the United States government turned their backs on Black people and the government sold them out. That was the first time.
Did you say that was the very first time that the United States government turned their backs on Black
citizens because they had just became citizens? That's what I'm saying. 2 Black citizens. But the point of that is, so that's a beautiful history. But I don't want $1 in reparations. I want reparations in another way. So that's a whole conversation for a totally different time frame. But
okay, well. I want reparations. I want the dollar. I want the dollar.
I don't want the dollar
that you owe my family for the work that we did for this country. And I just think that the divide, the gap between, I know a lot of people get irritated by the notion of making it specifically a very Black and white issue. But the fact of the matter is, this country would not be what it is. There would be no democracy. There would be no Donald Trump. There would be no any of that without Black people, and America owes me money.
So
let me jump in because I have allowed y'all.
Okay, no, I just want to tell the people in the comments. I'm gonna be quiet. My mom is on. My mom always says, "Shut up, you talk too much on the call." So I'm gonna mute myself. But if you're watching, please tell us your opinion about reparations because I want to know. Christina's all about reparations. I don't want reparations. You can't pay me for the work that was done. You can't. There is no amount of money you can put on me.
No, you can. The budget is there. They give it to the police. They can pay you. They give it to the police though.
But what I do want is I want every Black child in America to go to college for free and the college of their choice for free. But Tracy, tell me what you got it.
Well, I was just going to say, I think, yes, we do need reparations. Every disenfranchised community has received reparations and they have been able to have their own institutions remain in their communities because of reparations. So I will say that. Mm-hmm. Number 2, I think if we do get reparations, there needs to be some solutions attached to them. For example, I don't trust reparations with some of my cousins because they already don't practice good financial, what am I trying to say? They just don't have good financial practices. So I think if we are to be given reparations, we need to have some kind of financial advisors to help us learn how to invest. You don't think so?
I do.
What you no?
I just don't agree with reparations.
Oh, okay, because you were shaking your head. But I just think and you're right, Zach, it won't solve systemic problems, but it will help us to build our communities back. And that is the problem with our Black communities. We don't have banks, grocery stores, we don't have medical health care in our communities, vital necessities that we need. We have to go elsewhere. Other communities don't have to do that. And that is because they've been able to protect that through reparations, through money. Hey, go up Buford Highway. You see how the Hispanics are able to have their own thing. Why do you think any major metropolitan city you go to, they have a Chinatown?
Yeah.
But they didn't get reparations to start those businesses.
Those communities have been given money. They don't necessarily. It's not called reparations. It's called access to loans. It's access to business loans and home ownership. They get it before we do, and we've been here. So that's the problem I have.
I think it depends on like the city, but I know that in Atlanta there are a lot of businesses that are earmarked specifically for Black businesses to get. It's just that sometimes we don't either know it, we don't apply for it, or we don't pursue it.
Or, like I said a couple weeks ago, I'm looking to move back into Fulton County, and those communities, a lot of them are deserts. Tri-Cities High School is in a desert.
Yeah.
What do I mean by desert? It is, there are no food, restaurants, grocery stores. There are no places for us to shop. We have to go to other communities. I'm sorry, Camp Creek is not the only part of town where Black people can go to get Target, Marshalls, Ross, and TJ Maxx. It just should not be. If I live on Cascade, I should have that opportunity. If I choose to live in the Swats or in the West End, I should have that opportunity. I shouldn't move on Cleveland Avenue and have to go 6.9 miles just to get to a Target. That's a problem to me. That is the problem with our communities. And I think that would help if we were given reparations. But of course, we need some kind of financial plan and something.
Right, because Christina, I get it, but what do people do with the COVID-19 money?
Okay, look, yes, there is a need for advocacy for financial literacy, and
that's the word,
in ourselves and our community. I think. And also, people have received reparations globally. Japanese people, South African people, Jewish people for the Holocaust have received reparations across the globe.
And an apology.
And I think that, first of all, you want to talk about, Zach Thomas brought up buying back the block. With what money? Like, give me my reparations and I will buy back the block. Like, I think it's a really slight, I think we're selling ourselves short to think that we don't have the capability to start planning our own or building our own Black banks, building our own Black everything. We can absolutely do that, but where's the capital coming from? Like I said, America owes me and my family a lot of money. And that's what I want. That's the agenda that I want to hear. That's my vote. Like, you owe me money. Give me my money, and I promise you, I will do what it takes to buy back the block and to start my own businesses within my community and to uplift my community. And there are plenty of other Black people who can. Like, you guys you want to speak to like people who don't know how to manage their finances. Well, that's on any side that you look at. White people don't know how to manage their finances as well. Like,
but there is something to say about a lot of those other communities where they teach each other to help the family. Like, for example, my father comes from a family of 10. And many years ago, my mom was like, you all should create a business with the 10 of you. But all of them wanted to be individuals. My family is here. We're going to do this. And your family is there. We're not going to mix our money together, when we could have actually bought the land that my grandmother and grandfather's house was built on many years ago. And now we're scrambling, trying to get it together. So I do think that is something that white communities do well. Asian communities do well. They talk about pooling their monies together. Jewish communities, they tied to their church, then they tied to their community. Yeah. We don't do that.
I think that we underestimate the possibility. I think we talk a lot about the Black community shortcomings and what we don't have and what we can't do, instead of speaking life into what we are capable of. That we provide the culture of this nation. That nothing would be exciting in this place without Black people. Like, come on. Like, I think we're selling ourselves short. I think we're not really giving ourselves enough credit. I understand reservations, and
would you trust your cousins with $375,000?
I trust a lot of my cousins with $375,000. Yeah,
I wouldn't trust mine. I wouldn't trust mine.
Well, you know what? That's unfortunate.
What they do with $5,000, I'd be like, oh God, you bought a what?
That's unfortunate, and you will have that. But I think that what we should be looking at is the greater majority who will get that, who would get $375,000 and say like, okay, well, what should I be doing with this money? Let me research. Like, I don't know what to do with this money. I know I shouldn't go spend it on Jordans. Let me figure it out. There are a number of people that I know in my personal life that would be more willing to, especially based on life experience, what we've seen just in 2020. that would want to do the right thing and would want to make a difference and want to try something different. You know, like I think we're selling ourselves short.
Again, I don't even want to say anything now that Meechin Hill is on and he's going to rip into me. But that's fine. You can just come get ready to rip. I'm still not in favor of the reparations, and I feel as though
you're not in favor of reparations.
I'm not in favor of reparations in the traditional sense.
Okay. What's your idea of
reparations? I would like to see that any descendant of slaves are able to go to the college of their choice for free.
And that's it?
That is one element of reparations. I also would like to see money set aside for small business loans and other opportunities that are there, and greater amount of grants being provided to ensure that the capital that is invested is going to have a return on the Black community. However, I want to see guidelines in place so that that money and those funds do not go to another type of privileged class.
Why can't we have the money?
I recognize that there are multiple types of privileges in the world, and being a male is a type of privilege. Being educated is a type of privilege. And so I want to see a lot of equity being put in place in those regards around reparations. I also believe, this is just my personal belief, that we cannot do wholesale grouping. And that's something I'm excited to see us move beyond when Joe Biden is elected. That's something I'm excited about. Like, I'm going to move beyond the notion of Black community collectivism once Joe Biden is elected. Because then I will know that we no longer have a racist Donald Trump in the White House, a less racist Joe Biden will be in the White House, and I will be able to start asking Black people to do something collectively because we're individuals. When you talk about reparations being given to the Jewish community and members of the Latino Latin community, I don't think that's the case. Asian Americans in America definitely deserve. Japanese Americans, not Asian. Japanese.
They got it. They got it. They got it.
Put in concentration camps by the government. Our government in California collectively took these people, ripped them out of their homes, took their land, and put them in concentration camps in the exact same way that
our government collectively took our
reparations for that.
Same thing. Are you nuts? Are you nuts? You on crack today.
No.
I'm sorry. How can you make the comparison between the two? Like, how can you say one is different from the other?
How can I say that?
How can you say? I mean, you're saying, you're touting like being put in a concentration camp as if it's not the same as being taken. Being
enslaved for generations is worse. That's not what I'm saying. But the context and the time frame in which this happened is different. It was a different time frame. That is true. And again, I'm not saying that we the descendants of slaves do not deserve for this act done to us and our ancestors that have put us behind significantly where we should be. We don't deserve something to help right the wrong. I am just saying that something should not be financial reparations. That is my belief.
That's scary.
It should be all of the reparations. I think that the world's white people find enough money to do with it whatever they want. And I think that we can be afforded free education, like you're saying. And you can also give me my $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, whatever that dollar amount is. I think you can do both. I think you can absolutely do both. I think you can set up grants and awards for us. And I also think that you can give me a large sum of money in my bank account so that I can execute all the ideas that I have in my head. There are plenty of us who know exactly what they would do with $400,000. They know which land they would buy. They know which businesses they would invest in. They know the people that they would collectively start a business with. There are plenty of people who know.
The biggest gap between us and other communities is financial.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
That's the biggest gap. Then education. then health and all the others. But the biggest gap is that we don't have financial resources to build.
I don't argue that at all. Here's a question that I want to know. Do you guys actually think that the United States government in our lifetimes will give us reparations? And the amount of $400,000 in our bank accounts?
Bob Johnson got a plan. Whatever candidate hooks up with Bob Johnson.
But do you think it's going to happen? That's my question. Do you legitimately believe in your lifetime on this earth, you're going to get a financial reparation for slavery?
No, because it's
the capacity that would arise from that would be so unruly. Like, I just think that white people, both liberal and conservative, would be so upset at the notion. Would be so upset at the notion of Black people getting such a grandiose handout that it would just cause absolute unrest. And that's the biggest problem. It's just that white people ultimately know what us catching up would mean for them.
Absolutely.
And it can't happen. The system wouldn't be what it is if we had the same head start. And y'all know that. So
there are bigger things to fight for. Like, there are bigger things that we need to fight for besides reparations, in Zach's opinion. Tracy?
Like what?
I think we can fight for it simultaneously.
Yes, I agree.
Whatever else you were gonna say, Zach. You are on one tonight.
No, this is the point of the discussion. There are bigger things to fight for. We need to fight for criminal justice reform. We need to fight for policing reform. We need to fight for dismantling education to ensure that children are being adequately educated, because that's really where the future lies, and really moving towards anti-racism. People are racist. We are living in a world where people are racist. People would not be racist if they were not taught to be racist, the majority of them. Now, some people are automatically going to gravitate naturally towards this because that's how
what's the difference between the two? People that are taught and people that would automatically be racist.
People who are, I just think that you can't avoid that somebody somewhere, but they're going to be racist. But I think that if we're teaching and moving towards an anti-racist society, we're going to have less people in the world that are racist. And then when those issues of racism that are naturally ingrained in the human condition to make us want to be better than someone else for whatever reason we can identify, you may go for like ears. All of a sudden, instead of the color of my skin makes you hate me. You hate me because I have big ears. The point of it is, we have to undo the systems that put these things in place. That to me is a much bigger thing to fight for as opposed at this moment in time. That's just Zach's opinion and belief about it. So we had several great questions about reparations, saying how do you decide who gets reparations? Then again, some people, Zach said that, I don't think reparations will create equity in this country for Black people. And that's what I agree with that too, Zach. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's going to solve the problem at all. I don't think you can throw money at the issues that have caused
that are systemic. But it is a beginning. It is a start.
And then Timmy says that reparations should be coupled with financial literacy as well. That's what the lady said. They are in agreement. Yeah, you millennials are rock stars tonight. And yep, 100%. And then also, actually, no, because people still think that Joe Biden. I knew it. Thank you so much. I knew it, Misha. Thank you. That Joe Biden.
I do not think that moderates. We think that. I don't think we think he cares more about poor people. I think that here's the thing. I cannot stand another 4 years of waking up to what the hell did this man say today? What the hell did this man sign today? Are we about to go into the purge? I have not seen white people be so emboldened to do some of the shit they're doing today. I watched a video of this.
White people do that?
Yeah, I've seen them. I'm talking about in the numbers. Maybe because I'm 41 and we didn't have phone cameras. camera phones. What do we call? I sound old. Camera phones.
All the hundreds of years of slavery and kidnapping Black people from Africa was white.
No, I know that. I'm talking about watching these Karens in all of these stores and on these streets, and today I watched a video of a white woman walking up to a car with a Black man driving. She asked where he got that car from, and she rallied the white people around her and told them that man stole her car from them. And they stood in front of that car, kicked it, rode their motorcycles into it, and he had 2 of his children in there. 2 of his children.
I'm not surprised.
I don't think I'm surprised. I'm more surprised at the number of it. It's like I'm nervous. I'm nervous because I'm waiting.
How can you be nervous in a country that was founded on slavery? Like, how can you be nervous at the notion of white people trying to kill Black people however they can when it was literally founded on kidnapping Black people and bringing them here to be slaves?
Because I feel like at this point, we haven't had a leader in about some 30 years that encouraged that. We have someone in like he encourages this. So they do not feel like this is they got somebody that'll bail them out because their leader. My leader said we could do this. I haven't witnessed that in my lifetime. I know it's happened.
No, I want to see it. I want that.
You have a chance in November to get him out of office. And national polls show that Joe Biden is leading Donald Trump across
barely 14%. Where is it at? 9% now. Oh, it was 14%.
No, it's 14. That's an old poll. But then, too, you got to look at different polls state different things. So I used the Fox poll because that was the poll that had the least amount of a lead. But even Fox News has to acknowledge that Joe Biden is leading Donald Trump in the majority of battleground states as well as in national polls. And so I think with that being stated, I feel like that's the first step in moving towards a better America. A anti-racist to start the work of anti-racism in America is you have to get the racists out of the White House and remove his racist regime. I think that's the first step. And they didn't say that Hillary was killing him in the polls. Hillary was leading him. Hillary was not leading at this rate. Neither was Barack Obama or George W. Bush leading at this rate. These polls are not foolproof, and a lot can happen in the months that lead up to our election. But I think it's a good sign for many people who are wanting a change in the White House. There was also changes made in a different kind of house. It was in this house.
What the fuck is that? Who is that?
What family have you found? And you didn't send this in our notes. Who are these people?
You did it.
I did. I sent this in the notes, and this is from People Magazine, and that is this young lady here in front of us is a famous mom blogger, and she has this beautiful little family of hers, and she writes about it, and she adopted a little boy named Huxley from China. Oh. And Huxley, she got him as a baby, and that's the young kid here, and he actually is autistic. And so she gave him back. They adopted the baby from birth. They raised him from birth, and now they put him back up for adoption, and they gave him to like a home. And it's a shocking story, but I feel like it's a story like it's definitely worth discussing. Like this is I don't even know how to verbalize my anger around what this family did.
Well, that's the epitome of conditional love. Period.
If you keep the baby, they didn't keep him.
I said conditional love.
Conditional love. It's Micah Stauffer is her name, Micah Stauffer. And she has taken a lot of criticism on Twitter about it, but her fans are still there for her.
Why is this on here tonight?
I mean, is it any different from any other mom giving up their baby? Is it just because she's white and the baby is Asian that it's a problem? Because people give their kids up for adoption all the time.
It's that he's autistic. That's the problem.
She did not give birth to this child. She went out and wanted a child. Though she had her own, she wanted another child. She said because she wanted to help. She wanted to make a difference in a child's life who was disadvantaged. She went to China, went through the process, got this child, brought this child from his native land to America, and now you're giving him up. I think it's a sad story of white privilege, of white savior complex, and I think that she should be fully canceled by every decent person in America. That's what I think.
I think she would have given the child if it were white. She had an issue with the autism, the struggles she may have with communicating with an autistic child, educating an autistic child. And, I just think, why is this on here again?
If you were here, Bethany, you could back me up about the choice to add this to the docket of news. We'll move on, and we will go from this wonderful family that is now short one, this beautiful young lady.
Oh, God. Talking about Aunt Jemima.
At the rally on, I want to say it was the Arizona rally, she said that Aunt Jemima is the epitome of the American dream come true.
Poor baby.
Poor baby. Exactly. Like, I mean, I can't get enough of white people saying stuff like this. Like, who raised you? Where did you get your education?
The lady, they have a picture of the actress because she was a character in Jemima, holding a stack of pancakes while chained to the table. And that's the epitome of the American dream. But of course, they crop the picture out and only show us a portion of it. But
was she chained to the stove because it was like they were trying to imitate that she was a slave at the time? Or was it like they really changed it to the stove?
It doesn't matter. Does it matter?
Well, no, I was wondering, I was wondering about their portrayal of her pancakes.
I don't know.
Aunt Jemima is not even like the original Aunt Jemima is not even a real. It's based on a fictional menstrual character. So it's like, what do you mean the American dream? It's not even a real person. Like, what American dream?
Again, these are white people who are not well read, who don't know history outside of George Washington. Yeah, so they're speaking things that they know nothing about. And I had an ex that always told me, he would say, I only speak what I know.
Yeah.
Next topic.
Well, there's only one other topic for tonight, and that is the And that is the feedback and the attacks against President Trump from a number of celebrities who are angry that he's using their music in rallies, and they're saying that he is not allowed to do so. Last week, there was the John Mellencamp family coming out saying that he is not authorized to ever use that John Mellencamp's music. And now Panic at the Disco came out and said the exact same thing. So do you guys feel as though it is right for artists to say that certain people can't use their music when it's legal, like a certain portion, or they pay for those rights?
I mean, I guess it just depends on copyright laws. Like if they made it such that people across the board can't use their music. But I guess also if they just want to take a political stance and say like, I don't fuck with him, so don't use my music, that's fine. Yeah, sure.
Absolutely. He couldn't use my music. God, if I could sing, please don't let that man use my song.
Yeah.
If I could sing and Donald Trump used one of my songs, I would stop singing until I would stop singing.
Chrisette Michele, however, Chrisette Michele went and sang a good Negro spiritual.
And she was canceled immediately. I actually was a real Chrisette Michele fan. I owned the CDs. I took all the CDs and I threw them in the trash. I took my original first edition, first day it came out, Kanye West CDs. They found their way to the trash. I don't tolerate it.
That's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate.
Oh my goodness. Christina, why is that unfortunate?
I mean, because like I said, like I wished in a perfect world for me that I could just uplift all Black art and Black artists. But again, it's like, I just don't ride with the same thing that you ride for. So I can't support you. I literally cannot support you in this instance. And I'm sorry for that.
You can't support Zach or Kanye?
No, Kanye and Chrisette.
Yeah,
and
we would like to because they do good work as artists, but no, me either. I can't. That's why they have to be thrown in the trash.
Absolutely.
So we're going to talk about the up, the down, the clown, and the products that we love. But before we do that, Zach Thomas wants to know: should Joe Biden select a Black woman as his vice president? And we want to know from our Black women on the panel tonight.
Why is that a question? First of all, and second of all, the president should be a Black woman.
Ooh.
Who should it be, Christina?
I'm not sure. I don't know if we know her yet. I'm not sure we know who she is yet.
Yeah, the president can't be a Black woman if we don't even know who she is. You had Kamala Harris running. We had a Black woman run for president.
Who?
Kamala Harris.
Right. Yes. No, I don't know if we know who she is yet. So yes, he should. And also the president should just be a Black woman. Like,
period.
I mean, I feel the most safe and the safest I've ever been is with Black women, period. Like, Black women are going to save this country, period.
Except if you're on a VH1 show. Because all they do is fight.
You're saying the reality shows. So Tracy, what is your opinion about that?
I would like to see a Black woman vice president. I think it's time. Black women are paid the lowest in every profession. We're overlooked in just about every profession, but yet and still we are looked to uphold every profession. So yes, I think it's time. And some people that I really like, Stacey Abrams is by far one of the smartest Black women that I have seen in politics. She doesn't stutter. She doesn't hesitate. She's very knowledgeable about everything. Now people get on to her about her looks, but I'm like, I don't give a damn at this point how you look, as long as you can strategically plan.
What is she qualified to do?
What?
What is Stacey Abrams qualified to do?
What is Donald Trump qualified to do?
I'm talking about we're not Republicans. We would never allow someone without appropriate qualifications.
You don't think she's smart?
Land.
You don't think Stacey is smart though?
Well, I agree with everything you said. Stacey Abrams is exceptionally articulate. Stacey Abrams is well spoken. Stacey Abrams is somewhat put together at times. Stacey Abrams is also an intelligent person. I am not taking any of those things away. But what Stacey Abrams is not is qualified to be president of the United States of America. She has never even won a statewide office, let alone.
But that is not because she's not qualified to do it.
Executive
Brian Kemp is not qualified to be the fucking governor, and he is. Are you freaking kidding me?
And he's nowhere near office. I am not a fan of Brian Kemp.
He's held office. Just because he's held office, that makes him qualified.
He has one statewide office.
I know, but does that make him qualified? Just because he won,
that does not make
winning something does not make you qualified. It just makes you lucky.
No, I don't agree with that. I think that we diminish the value of politics because we don't want to see and give credit to the fact that a real politician takes work. It takes work to win an elected office. It's not easy. Did
Brian Kemp work?
Yeah. He played the game very well. He mobilized his base around the issue of immigration.
And he He was in position to suppress voters. He was in position to create an obstacle that kept the more qualified individual from being in that position.
That's true. You're right. That's exactly what he did. But what I'm saying is it takes work to be up to win office. And again, Stacey Abrams has done a lot of things, but in my opinion, she has not done anything that makes her qualified to be president. I do believe that Kamala Harris is qualified to be president and vice president of the United States of America. I do believe that Val Demings is qualified and ready to also be president of the United States of America or vice president. And again, I think that Gretchen Whitmer is also prepared and qualified. That to me, I do not want to see someone become vice president and then possibly president who isn't qualified. And in Zachary's opinion, Stacey Abrams is simply just not qualified.
I think that's unfair.
Okay, but Zach, do you think that if he becomes president, President Biden should have a Black woman as his vice president? Do you think?
I do. I want to see more urgently than a Black vice president, a Black female Supreme Court justice, because I think that the voice of a Black woman on the Supreme Court will carry greater weight for the long-term stability of our nation. But I firmly believe, too, that I would love to see a Black woman sit beside Joe Biden and possibly become the next president of the United States after Joe Biden. I would not have minded, Christina, that we have a Black female president at this moment, but America obviously did in the fact that we don't have one as a candidate. We have, a former racist. So with that being said, we are getting ready to conclude the show. For the two people that just joined the show, it's just over now. But we always end 3+1 Livecast with the up, the down, the clown, and a product that we love. I am happy to take the up of the week. Does anyone who wants the down? Or the clown or the product you love?
I'll take the product I love. I'll take the product I love.
Okay.
I think we all should talk about a product we love. We need to share 3 products, preferably Black.
We can share 3 products. Christina, do you have a down or a clown? Tracy, a down or a clown?
I've been on Zooms all week. I don't know. I don't know what's going on in the world. I guess I could bring up something I saw.
Whatever. It could be something that you saw, something you watched on Netflix, something that you like. That's really great.
No, there's no clownage in my life right now.
I'll take the clown.
Okay. So for the up, I want to shout out and give a huge appreciation to NASA for renaming their headquarters after Mary W. Jackson. She was played in the film Hidden Figures by Janelle Monáe, and she was the first Black female engineer at NASA, and they recently renamed the building after her, which I think is a huge accomplishment, and it's so appropriate at this time. So much progress is being made, but not enough progress as we continue to push forward and go in hopefully a better direction for our country. So that's my up for the week. Is there a collective down? I would have to say maybe the collective down is a consistent increase in coronavirus cases all across America and the consistent fight for so many Americans to not wear masks. That people are fighting tooth and nail. I'm not putting on that mask, but yet you are contracting coronavirus, taking it back home, and you're killing grandma and grandpa. Now, if grandma and grandpa are Trump voters,
do away with them.
Still want them to live. I still care. And want people to live.
Do away with them.
But I do think that this is very unfortunate. I am embarrassed that Spain and Italy and France were able to curb the spikes. They are now with so low numbers. They are truly able to reopen, while America, we never flattened the curve. We're still in phase 1. There is no second wave. We're still in the first wave, and it's heartbreaking, it's horrifying. And I'm afraid that we're going to have to I'm afraid that we're going to either shut down again and hurt our economy further, or we're just going to take our losses and let whoever lives live and die, which is an even worse scenario.
Ain't no 2020. Ain't no 2020. Y'all want to go to homecomings and Christmas and Thanksgiving, family reunions. Time out for that. Ain't no 2020. My friend just got
potato salad.
My friend tested positive today. She's a flight attendant in Houston. And so, y'all, this shit is real. Let's Black people getting it and stop acting like we are not.
And we're dying from it at a higher rate than other places.
At young ages. My friend's nephew just died of it. He was 23. Picture of health. So come on, y'all. Wear your mask. At least. The least you can do is wear your mask.
So what is our clown?
Like I said, that lady that told that band of white people that Black man stole her car, and they believed her.
Do we know her name?
I don't know her name. She had no teeth. Okay. She looked like somebody that did not own a car. I tell you that. Let me go find it. I'm gonna find the video.
So while we're looking for the video, it's the Royal Oak Police.
Walking Dead type, yes, is what it says.
Horrifying. What about the product that we love? What are we loving this week, Christina?
We are loving Issa Rae's Insecure this week and every week and last week and the week before that. That's the product that I'm loving.
You love that show. That's like your favorite show.
It's my favorite show.
It's the favorite show of your generation.
Yes.
Black millennials love Insecure. Tracy, do you also love Insecure?
I don't watch it.
We all, Christina.
Wow.
I don't watch TV. So you could have said Watchmen, and I'd be like,
aren't you sometimes on TV?
She's on TV often.
Yes, and you can catch me now on Doom Patrol season 2, episode 4. Yes.
I don't watch TV.
I don't watch it either.
No, we're saying, Tracy, you don't watch TV. We watch TV. Christina and I are TV watchers. Christina, I watch Insecure. It is a funny show. It is well written. It is well acted. But it's not. I can't say it's one of my it doesn't relate to me in the way that it relates to you. But it's probably because I'm a Black man of a different generation than your generation.
Yeah.
And I'm at a different place in my life. And so a lot of what they talk about, I was never in that Issa place.
I think there is a very niche audience for that show, but it's an audience that's been left out for years and years and years and years.
I agree with that part.
And finally, we get a moment to just be awkward, be silly, and it's such a feel good space to go to that literally that's the only thing that I watch. I've been watching the shows over and over. I've been revisiting the seasons. I've been connecting the seasons to the other seasons.
I got 2 questions for you. Question number 1, if I had would I have liked Issa if she was my student?
Yes.
Would I have liked Molly if she was my student?
No.
So wait, which Molly though? Season 4 Molly?
No, I think Molly. You know what? I believe. I argue that they both have been very consistent characters who are growing on an arc. So I think it's the same Issa, the same Molly. My next question, Christina, is: are you Team Issa or Team Molly?
I'm Team.
Be honest.
I'm gonna be honest. Contrary to popular opinion, I am Team both of them. I'm not anti-Molly. I am not anti-Molly. I never have been. I empathize with Molly a lot because I've been a trash-ass person in my life. And I have to...
Molly was trash in the season? See, I don't agree.
You don't agree?
I was Team Molly all season.
Really? All this last season?
Well, let me not lie to you and act like I actually pay attention to every episode because I didn't. I'm going to be truthful, but I will. But I started really getting I started really looking close as the season got better. So I really started paying, the episode when they were at the fair, Issa's big event.
Yes.
And, and I started to really that's when I really started to think about Issa and Molly and their relationship. And Brian, I agree with you. I think Molly's a very hardworking girl. I like Molly. This is the thing. Issa has really used a lot of patience, and Issa is by nature, Issa is a selfish character. Issa is always going to have problems and issues that make her the center of the discussion and the center of the issue. And that just drains the heck out of you.
And that is why I said that I empathize with both of them. I understand where Molly's coming from, because I do think Issa is that person that's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to take so much from you on the front end. And then when I all of a sudden decide to get my shit together, everybody needs to get on board. But Molly still has an issue that we need to fucking rectify. Like,
yes, she does. And that's what made the show so beautiful, is that at the end, it came right back on her, and the fact that the boyfriend left her because she's too much to deal with. She has issues. So all of her focus of the season was on Issa and Issa's issues, and she never looked at her own selfish ways. So that makes it a beautifully written show and makes it very hard with these both characters. So I agree. It is. So we can give Insecure the we love it. Tracy, what are you loving?
I am loving, I just discovered the Georgia Roots Urban Farm out in South Fulton. It's off of Enon Road, I think. A friend of mine
told Roots Urban Farm.
It's Black owned. I think they've been at this location for about 3 years. They sit on 7 acres of farmland. And I just love the energy, the vibe. The food is so fresh and amazing. I made a squash casserole from the squash that I bought, and my mom and dad loved the the cabbage. They said it was just so tender. I took it for Father's Day. I took them some green tomatoes. I got fresh peaches. They got this hot sauce that is freaking amazing, Vidalia onion hot sauce. I got some elderberry jelly. It was just so dope. And so they're only open on Fridays and Saturdays from 10 until 4. Please try to get there if you can on Fridays if you want fresh farm eggs, farm fresh eggs before 12, they said. So
Zach is going to link that in the show notes.
Yeah, I'm going to be going on tomorrow. Do they have
I didn't see yellow watermelon, but they did have watermelon out there. They had collard greens, kale. They have about 10 different greens. It was just so, and they were so big. They have nuts, peanuts, pecans. They had bread.
I'm going to go tomorrow, and I'll post pictures, Brian, on my Instagram and my stories. I'll post and let you see what's there. I'm going to go tomorrow on my lunch break. I'm going to run. I'm going to go.
And it was quick. Get out, wear your mask.
Watermelon. Like, why does anybody want a yellow watermelon?
Well, Christina, yellow watermelon is sweeter than red watermelon. It is sweeter. It's sweeter. To me, it's a little too sweet, but it's a nice acquired taste. I don't think people want yellow watermelon on a regular basis, but when you're craving it and you just want it, you just want it. It's something that you grow up on, and it's kind of like a treat.
I don't think I've ever had a yellow watermelon, so.
Well, that's something that we need to rectify. This summer, we're going to get you a yellow meat watermelon so that you can try it. And I would say that for me, the product that I want to share, or is a TV show as well, is Avatar: The Last Airbender. So,
oh my gosh! Okay.
When Avatar: The Last Airbender was on TV, I was Christina's teacher at Eagles Landing High School. So she was probably going home every day enjoying the show while I was still probably at school grading her papers.
I wasn't. But
when did you find the show?
Listen, this is the thing. I have a very specific encounter with Avatar and Avatar-ness, and it's not this show, The Last Airbender, but my younger sisters and also Bethany, my best friend, and my roommate have told me that I need to watch the show. It will change your life. And
you haven't watched it. You haven't watched it yet.
I have not watched it. No.
Avatar: The Last Airbender, the first season isn't good. So let me not even lie to you. The first season it's not. It's a cartoon. The first season isn't good. You could tell they were writing a show for kids in the first season, but they probably picked up a lot of adult audience along the way or older kids, and they kind of shifted in season 2 and season 3. One thing that's really good about Avatar is you can tell that they knew the beginning and the end from the start. And I love a show that knows exactly where it's going, and they build their characters up, although it's a cartoon, very, very well. And it tells a really great timeless story in a great way that's very, very well done. It's the typical good and evil story, but it's just really, really good. And I will say that as I was watching the show, it reminded me of Game of Thrones with a significantly better ending, where it paid off. You watch, it's only 3 seasons, so it's not a lot of episodes. Every episode is 26 minutes to cartoon. You can sit and watch it, binge it, but I promise you, Christina, I agree with Bethany and your roommate. This is a great, great show. And it's a character for everybody. My favorite character is Appa the dog, but he's not a dog. He's like a sky bison. He has no words. He says nothing. He can't talk. He's like a dog. But he's my favorite character. So watch the show. You will love it. Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Another show to watch.
No.
Yes. But even though I don't watch a lot of television, I do watch a lot of documentaries. And I got to watch On the Record, the Russell Simmons documentary on HBO Max. And it was very good. It wasn't the R. Kelly documentary. It was... I really, really, I believe this woman. I really did. It was just well put together, and I learned a lot. So if you have some time, it's about 90 minutes. I think it's too short. So, yeah.
So we'll take it. So everybody, thanks for joining us. Thank you, Christina. Happy birthday week, Tracy. Enjoy your week. Everybody be safe. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you soon.
Bye, y'all. Bye, Christina. Bye. Black women love. Bye, Zach.
Bye, guys.